Hi, Leo. Welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for May of 2020. We've got new and full moons for you and also activity for Venus, Mercury, and Mars, starting with a full moon in Scorpio on May 7th in your fourth house of home and family. And this is something to really know about because it's one of the most emotionally intense moons of the year. And every year in this season, Taurus season, it falls right there in your fourth house, which means home. There may be some domestic emotional explosion. Somebody in your household may get overwrought, hysterical, very emotional, and it wouldn't be surprising because we're sheltering in place right now, aren't we? And not being able to go out is driving some people bonkers. And the more that you can balance that with calm, and hopefully not resemble that, and find your way to some form of stability is really the best approach. And then later in the month, on the 22nd, there is the new moon in Gemini, which is happening in your 11th house of community, which is great and very fitting for this moon, which really has strong themes of community and communication. I'm calling it words are the seeds that when you plant them, they enable you to build community. And I think that's especially true for you, Leo, with your shining personality. So this moon with its grand trine in air, I think suggests a lot of sweet connecting and gentle but cerebral relating, which is pretty easy to do through social media, through phones and computers and FaceTime and Skype and things like that. So I think this is going to actually tap off quite a bit of stress. Julia, what's happening with Mercury, Venus, and Mars for Leo this month?
Sure, Jamie. So on May 11th, Leo, Mercury is going to enter Gemini, which correlates with your 11th house. You have a lot of 11th house activity this month, and the 11th house is the house of groups, friends, as well as long-term goals, which are the goals that we set for ourselves that we're hoping to realize 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line. Those very long-range types of objectives in life. So when Mercury enters this house on the 11th, it means that your mind, which is represented by Mercury, since it's the planet of communication and mentation, is really going to be focused on those long-term goals. And since the 11th house is also the house of groups, your best thinking might be done in a group setting, sort of running ideas by a lot of your friends instead of just only to yourself. Then on May 12th, Venus goes retrograde also in the 11th house. And when Venus goes retrograde, that can be a time of review in our relationships. So in the 11th house, it could mean that if you're in a relationship, you're reviewing your long-term goals with your partner and whether this is the right partner to have those goals with, as well as how your relationship helps you fit in with your groups and your friends in general. Does it help you stay connected to your friendships, or does it make you feel, more disconnected from them? Then on May 12th, Mars enters Pisces, which correlates with your 8th house. And wherever we have Mars is where we're driven more, where we see more activity in our lives. And the 8th house is the house of intimacy. So this can be a very amorous transit. And it's also the house of shared money. And Mars can be a bit conflict prone. So watch out for having fights about shared resources, either with your partner or with your family. Also, shared resources can also include investments, debts, etc. Then on May 28th, Mercury enters Cancer, which naturally correlates with your 12th house. That's the house of seclusion. It's the house of the subconscious. So when it moves out of the 11th into the 12th, that means you're going to need to keep your thoughts to yourself a lot more versus earlier in the month when you were kind of connecting with friends about, making strategies, plans, or helping you think through things. And it can also mean that information may come to you through more subconscious sources like dream states or meditation, etc.
Yeah, you can find out a lot more about the moons and other news of this month in our May 2020 news playlist. And if you were to want a reading, I would think that probably just a plain old transit reading or a natal reading could cover a wide range of topics that you might be curious about right now. You can always find these horoscopes, and if today's horoscope, this Leo one, is your rising sign, you might want to look up your sun sign next, or the reverse. You can always find our horoscopes on our horoscope page at pandoraastrology.com. You'll find it in the navigation bar at the top. And you can find our news videos on our YouTube channel, Pandora Astrology. And we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye.
Bye bye.